Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi. We're going to talk about some warmer weather for all of you who are like, whoa, who put us into Christmas already when it came to the weather? I feel like I can already hear the Christmas music with these cold, freezing, in fact, temperatures we've had. I have some good news. We do have some warmer weather on the way for you. And we're also going to talk about the potential outlook for winter. We are waiting for that from the Climate Prediction Center to release their winter outlook for 2022 to talk about what it would look like potentially when it comes to our temperatures, also how much rain we could see. Usually they give you the at or below or above average when it comes to temperatures and rain. So we're going to talk about all of those things. And of course, Halloween is right around the corner. We'll give you at least a glimpse of what you could potentially expect as we head into the end of the month for that holiday. So let's talk about what's going on outside right now. And of course, if you ever have any questions for me, go ahead and write them in the comments. Would love to hear them. And if for some reason you are watching this after the fact, which I know is definitely a possibility, you can always message me on Facebook to ask any questions that you might have about the weather. Would love to answer them for you. So 54 right now in the city of Atlanta. Behind there, Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. A really nice day. I imagine this weather, as much as it's been a little bit abnormal, the pilot's probably really enjoying it because this air has been really still and the skies have just been so clear. It's probably just been beautiful out there. And if you're traveling, I'm sure it's been nice to not have to worry about any kind of storm delays or anything like that. So your temperatures area-wide, low 50s, upper 40s, so we are warming pretty nicely. We started in some spots in the low to mid 20s this morning. It was really, really frigid in a lot of spots, especially up towards the North Georgia mountains, so in places like Blairsville. But now take a look at this. For the most part, we are warmer than we were this time yesterday. Not significantly warmer, but any kind of warmer after these really cold mornings and afternoons is definitely a pleasant change, especially considering it's fall. We're not supposed to see temperatures like we've been experiencing the past couple days until January. Personally, I was not ready for it. I was just starting to settle into our sweater weather, the nice, cool, crisp mornings, like where you start to just feel like everything pumpkin and cinnamon and apple should be surrounded by you. And now I'm feeling like it's more like we need peppermint mocha everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It feels like Christmas out there. 58 today for a high in LJ, 62 in downtown Atlanta, 65 over in Athens, 60 in Carrollton, and 64 in Rome. So we will be a little warmer this afternoon than we have been. Tonight's lows, take a look at this. We actually will end up bottoming out. So you'll wake up tomorrow morning. Some of us freezing, but most of us in the mid to upper 30s. So no need to drip any of the pipes or anything like that. And really, for the most part, the past couple days, you probably haven't had to either. But at least it's not going to be frigid tomorrow morning. Still cold. You'll still need the jacket as you head out the door. But with the lack of wind, and also I'm going as a cold front for Halloween. Super scary. Luke, that is scary. That, yes, absolutely can get behind that. I think that would be wonderful. So Luke is always the one who tells me like when the Christmas stuff and the Halloween candy and stuff comes into stores because he works in like a store that gets those things. Luke, have you seen Christmas yet? I'm just curious. I know Hobby Lobby has already exploded with Christmas, so which I guess makes me happy, but I'm very strict on Christmas doesn't come until after Thanksgiving. We don't decorate until after Thanksgiving. All right, so tonight's lows, still cold. Yes, grab the jacket. You'll definitely still need it. The kids going to school, they'll want the jacket, but the good news is it's not going to be windy. It's not going to be freezing, so you won't need, the hat, the gloves, the scarf, like all of it. I mean, if you want the scarf, that's still cute. It's fashionable. It'll keep you extra warm. You can still wear that. But anyway, so here's a look at the temperature outlook through next week. So this will take us, I guess, until right before Halloween. This will take us into next Friday, the end of next week. So warmer than normal weather likely. I had to do a quick math. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So you take the 7 day and go an extra 3. Anyway, so warmer than normal weather likely. I got distracted by your comment, Luke. I think that's still sitting in my brain rent free. So here's a look at the temperature over the next 6 days. So here you go. You can see that warming trend. Temperatures are going to go. Think about this, guys. We were in the low 50s just a couple of days ago for high temperatures. And then fast forward maybe a week, and we're going to be near 80 on Tuesday. So if you're like, wow, this weather just isn't for me, we've got some warmer air on the way for you. There's tons of Christmas around. Oh, good for you, Luke. That's awesome. well, yeah, Christmas is definitely already everywhere. You can't escape it, guys. So here's a look at your temperatures for the next 6 days. We will gradually warm. The weekend is going to be perfect. Low to mid 70s. It's going to be great. We'll see a few clouds around, so a mix of sun and clouds. And then notice how we go from 78 to 74. Yes, that is thanks to a cold front. Now, the timing of that front and how much rain we get from this front is still definitely in question. The different models are saying different things about how much rain we could experience from that and how cold we'll be behind it. So that's still kind of up in the air, which is normal for being this far out from the cold front. But here's a look at those overnight lows as well. So what you'll wake up to in the morning, notice how those gradually warm too. So these mornings at freezing are going to be a thing of the past, and it does look like we'll settle into some warmer temperatures as we head into the weekend and into next week. So here's a look at that weekend forecast. If you have plans to go to the pumpkin patch, to go apple picking, to do anything outdoors, go for it. It's going to be stunning. 73 Saturday, overnight lows in the 40s, and then Sunday will be in the low 70s as well. So overall, really, really nice. I am going to quickly change something before I get to it. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. So here's a look at the rain the next few days. So as we go through the weekend, like I said, dry, and then notice Tuesday. Now, this is a snapshot of just one model. Some, again, bringing the rain in a little sooner, others a little bit better of a coverage. So right now, Tuesday is at least going to be our first chance for rain. Tuesday and Wednesday, we do have rain chances for just because of the difference in timing of that front. So it's possible one of the two or even both of the days, depending on the timing and how quickly the front moves, we could have rain Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be an incredible amount of rain. It's not going to be enough to take us out of the drought that we're in, but any kind of rain is good for us as we really have been dry, very dry for the past several weeks now. So as much as that's been great for any of the outdoor plans we've had, I mean, it's been just jam-packed with fall festivals, and we had the Pride Parade the other week, and of course all the sporting events outside. It's been great for that. Football weather, but we do need the rain. You can't go without it for too long, and that could even impact the leaf colors, because without any kind of rain, that's going to cause the leaves and the trees to start to die. So before we can get to that peak color, which is supposed to be in about a week or two, and I've seen some of the leaves change across the area already, that would hinder those leaves to really stay beautiful. Now let's talk about this winter, because we do have a stay warm in that studio. I will, although it normally is cold. It's not cold where I'm standing right now, but like in our physical studio where we do the shows, it's always freezing. So quickly, I'm going to put myself back on screen just to give us a little bit of a gap here. We talked about the forecast. Actually, no, because that's going to get confusing. So I was going to show you the 7-day, but then I'd have to backtrack all those graphics because of the way it works. So we're going to talk about the winter outlook. It is supposed to come out at 11. I'm looking at the website that it's supposed to be issued on. It doesn't look like it came out. Sometimes the Climate Prediction Center can be very punctual. Other times we have to wait a little longer. But I can at least still give you an idea from information that was released just a couple of days ago and what the Climate Prediction Center is telling us right now about what our winter could look like. You've probably heard us talk about it during hurricane season. We've been in a La Nina. Typically that allows for more active tropics, more tropical systems. Thankfully, we actually ended up so far, now hurricane season isn't over yet, we still have another month or so of hurricane season, but so far we've actually rung in a little below what the Hurricane Center was predicting for the hurricane season so far when it comes to named storms, but nonetheless, when it comes to water temperature profiles, which typically gives you the indication of whether we're in a La Nina or an El Nino, that is still hinting at La Nina. In fact, there's a 75% chance that La Nina here in the Northern Hemisphere where we live will persist through the winter months. And then predicting that we go into more of what we call an end zone neutral phase. So you're not necessarily super La Nina, but you're not also El Nino yet, or kind of right in the middle. We could shift back into that phase as we head into a more kind of stable phase as we head into the spring. But let's talk about what that means for the winter. Yeah, I can imagine, Rusty, anything you could do. Snuggies, I've seen Snuggies in the studios before. Heaters. Lana had electric hand warmer the other day, which was super cool. And we do what we can, you know? All right, so if La Nina persists this winter, this is essentially what happens. So the cold air that normally gets driven in, so those little arrows you're seeing, that's the jet stream. And think of the jet stream, it's this fast tunnel of air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And what that does is it helps separate air masses and drive weather systems. So when the jet stream dips really far south, that one helps steer cold fronts into our area. That also helps allow that cold Canadian air in the wintertime spill into places as far south as here in North Georgia. Now, when La Nina is in place, essentially what happens, the Eastern Pacific has cooler water that is getting pushed off of it. We have something called the trade winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere as well. And what that does is the wind pushes from east to west and actually takes the water from the ocean, that top layer of the ocean, and pushes it off to the west. What that allows for is the cooler water that's in the depths of the ocean. If you went to the bottom of the ocean, it would be cold. That allows all that water to do something called upwell and essentially come to the surface, and causes for those cooler currents in the Eastern Pacific and those cooler water temperatures. Now, cooler water is more dense, so that creates an area of high pressure. So you're seeing that H there, that's an area of high pressure. So follow along with me. Now that high pressure allows the jet stream to stay really far north. Essentially what that area of high pressure does, it creates this huge blocking dome that doesn't allow any of the jet stream to dip south. So it keeps it really far north. And what that does, I keep hitting the space bar because that's what I'm used to in the studio. What that does is keep the jet stream further north, preventing that colder Canadian air from spilling in as far south. So with that jet stream shifting north, cold air stays trapped north. So what does that mean for our winter? You stay cold. Oh, why did it do that? You stay cold to our north. Oh, that was my fault. Someone might be touching my computer. That's okay. So that was you?
It's not me. No.
It wasn't you?
I'm right here.
I was over here blaming Rodney. That's okay. You get the picture. The cold air stays north. We stay warmer. We also stay drier because without those cold fronts to come through, of course, those cold fronts are what help lift all that moisture in the atmosphere and cause for showers and thunderstorms and sometimes severe weather. So when that jet stream stays north, that impacts our weather in that it doesn't allow that cold, it traps that cold Canadian air to the north, keeps us warmer and drier. Do you think West Georgia will get snow this year? So that was kind of my next thing that I was going to go into. So just because we're in a La Nina, we were in a La Nina last year, and I believe North Georgia got snow. I obviously wasn't here, but I was keeping an eye on it because us in Central Georgia, we always kind of keep an eye on North Georgia. That's where I came from, to see how exactly everything's progressing. And I believe we got flurries on Christmas recently, and I know that y'all have had snow recently. We've been in a La Nina for the past couple of years, so that doesn't mean just because climatologically, so weather is what's happening right now and in the recent, like we can predict the weather for the next 7 days. Weather is what's happening now. Climate is what happens over the next several months, so you take a big snapshot. Essentially, weather is like a page that you're reading. Climate is like the whole book, right? And so just because climatologically we're thinking, okay, La Nina typically means warmer, drier in the southeast. That doesn't mean that means that the weather is going to be like that every single day. But when we probably look at the big picture, that's probably what it's going to end up averaging out at. So could you get snow in West Georgia? Sure. I don't think that it's completely out of the question if we get a dip in the jet stream and we get all those perfect ingredients to create snow. Now, it is difficult because you have to have below freezing temperatures in every level of the atmosphere, and to get that deep of a cold layer, that can be pretty difficult here in the southeast. But the further north you are, so if you're in northwest Georgia, I'd say you have the best shot. It kind of depends on where in West Georgia you live. And this word's, you're going to shut ATL down. Yeah, you have to be very careful with the word snow. Maria, you're pretty new to the area too. Maria's our wonderful digital gal. There she is. From Hawaii, by the way, so snow is very foreign to her. But that's a dangerous word here in the southeast. You know, it will shut the city down. Blame Rodney for the lack of donuts. Lack of donuts? Okay. Let's see. Or a great chance. Oh, so Serena, you were asking about West Georgia, right? So again, even though in a typical La Nina, you're gonna have that cold air, the jet stream typically staying north, so that'll trap the cold air a little further north. It doesn't mean you can't get a cold blast of air that allows for flurries or snow of some sort. So now I'm gonna take you, we haven't seen actual snow. I guess it depends who you ask, Serena, because to me, like in 2018, January in 2018, there were a few inches of snow in Macon, and to me, that's a lot. But to others, maybe not. So I'm gonna take you to a website, kind of give you an idea of what us as meteorologists look at to kind of get an idea of what's happening. So if you look up at the way top of your screen, there is a headline. I know it's a little difficult to read, but you can see that 75% chance. That's what I was talking about with the La Nina. So I'm going to take you to the seasonal outlook.
You can zoom in on the page if you want.
Can you? Let me see. There we go. Oh no, that's perfect, right there. So here is the seasonal outlook for November, December, and January, ultimately winter. And that was issued today. Oh, would you look at that? That's the new outlook, the 20th. Beautiful. It came out, so here it is. And this is on par with what essentially La Nina means for winter in the southeast. Now again, remember what I said, this doesn't mean you can't get any kind of winter weather, but when we ultimately take a look at our winter, November, December, January, of course into February as well, and we look at all the temperatures. Remember back from elementary school when you learned to take averages, mean, median, mode, all that kind of stuff. When we take a look at all the numbers from every day in the winter, we add them all up and then you average them, more than likely we'll look at least slightly above average. And then you have the near normal for far, far north Georgia, most of the Midwest, parts of the Great Plains. So Hallmark starts Christmas movies tomorrow, so it's basically Christmas. I didn't know that. That's good to know. I love a good Hallmark Christmas movie, though. They all end the same. We all know how they're going to end up. But anyway, so this is in line with the whole idea that La Nina will persist. So here's a look at the seasonal outlook. Again, this is brand new information from the Climate Prediction Center. And then here's a look at the precipitation. So below average, warmer, drier. That's typically what we see when you have a La Nina set up as that. Again, jet stream stays north. The jet stream is huge when it comes to driving our weather systems, how cold we're going to get. We've had that deep dive of the jet stream the past couple of days here from a weather system that tracked all the way through the Great Lakes region, and that allowed for that really cold air to spill in. Now that's abnormal, so you might be thinking, how am I supposed to believe that if we've already seen like record-breaking cold the past couple of days? Well, again, when we look at the big picture of things, our 7-day forecast shows pretty much above average temperatures as we go through the next 7 days, starting on Sunday. And then notice we're near 80 degrees on Tuesday, so quite the jump. And then Wednesday, of course, Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we're going to be watching our next cold front. So temperatures will go in the upper 70s Tuesday. That cold front could come in Tuesday night into Wednesday. Again, that timing is TBD. We'll keep an eye on the progression of the models to see exactly when. That could eventually be solely a Wednesday rain chance by the time it's all said and done. But ultimately, it does look like we'll have another slight cool down, not as drastic as this one, but it'll bring us kind of level back to average, which, by the way, our average high this time of year is around 73. Our low is around 54 or so. So low 50s, low 70s, which is absolutely perfect. That's why I love fall. That's the perfect weather. I personally love the cold weather, so you've enjoyed it. Awesome. Climatological is an SAT word. Very AMS. Yeah, I know it. By the way, just so you know, AMS is American Meteorological Society. But yeah, climatological. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah, it's always fun to say that on TV and try not to mess it up when you're in the spur of the moment. So that's your 7-day forecast. Again, we did have that first alert this morning. The freeze warning is done. It expired at 10 this morning. So now obviously we're warming up. We'll top out in the low 60s today. We're back near 70 tomorrow. I'll show you this so you can see it. And then the weekend looks stunning. Low 70s. It'll be beautiful. We'll have rain return potentially Tuesday into Wednesday, but that's thanks to a cold front that being that far out, there's still some fine tuning to do with that, but do expect some much needed rain as we head into the middle of next week. And then of course the winter outlook. Oh, all of you that were hoping for a very cold winter, we'll get those cold snaps, I'm sure, but it looks like for the most part, we're stuck in that La Nina pattern yet again, which means typically a warmer and slightly drier winter, but we'll keep you up to date on that in the First Alert Weather app as we get more information. Thank you so much for tuning in with me and chatting. Y'all were great in the comments. It was fun to talk with you again. If you have any weather questions, feel free to message me. And until next time, everyone, make it a wonderful Thursday.